Imagine you're camping with 8 of your closest friends. It's freezing outside. The nearest town is over 100 miles away. Everything seems normal until the middle of the night. Suddenly, everyone cuts their way out of the tent. From the inside, they run into the snow, barefoot, half-dressed. No one ever comes back. More than 60 years later, nobody knows exactly why. This is the Dyatlov Pass mystery. In January 1959, 9 experienced hikers set out on an expedition through the Ural Mountains in the Soviet Union. They weren't beginners. These were skilled adventurers who had survived brutal winters before. Their goal was simple: cross the mountains, reach their destination, then return home. It should have been another successful expedition. Instead, it became one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. Before disappearing, the group took one final photograph. At first glance, it looks completely ordinary. Friends smiling, snow everywhere. Nothing seems unusual. But there's one terrifying detail. Every single person in that photo would soon be dead. Days passed. The hikers never returned. Search teams were finally sent into the mountains. What they found made absolutely no sense. The group's tent was still standing. Most of their food was untouched. Their equipment was still inside. But something was horribly wrong. The tent had been sliced open from the inside. Instead of using the entrance, the hikers had cut their own escape route through the fabric. Why? Nobody knew. Outside the tent, investigators found footprints leading away into the snow. The strange part? The footprints weren't chaotic. They weren't running. They looked calm, as if the hikers had willingly walked away from their only shelter. But there was another problem. Outside, the temperature had dropped below minus 30 degrees Celsius. Leaving the tent like that meant almost certain death. Yet, that's exactly what they did. Hundreds of meters away, beneath a giant cedar tree, rescuers found the first 2 bodies. They were barefoot, wearing almost nothing. Next to them, the remains of a small fire. It looked like they had desperately tried to survive, but they never stood a chance. As more bodies were discovered, the mystery only grew darker. Some hikers had broken ribs. Others had fractured skulls. The injuries were so severe that investigators compared them to a high-speed car crash. Yet almost none of them had visible external wounds. It was as if an invisible force had crushed them from the inside. Then came the strangest discovery of all. One victim was missing her tongue. Others were missing their eyes. How could that happen? Animals, nature, or something else entirely? No one could say for certain. For decades, people have proposed countless theories. Some believe a massive avalanche forced the hikers to flee. Others think they accidentally wandered into a secret Soviet military experiment. Some blame infrasound, a rare wind phenomenon that can trigger panic. And of course, there are theories about aliens, unknown creatures, even the legendary Yeti. Every theory explains part of the mystery, but none of them explain everything. Today, most researchers believe a rare type of avalanche may have started the chain of events. But even that theory leaves many unanswered questions. Why did they walk instead of run? Why were some injuries so unusual? And why did experienced hikers abandon the one thing keeping them alive? More than 60 years later, the mountain still refuses to reveal its secrets. Maybe one day, we'll finally know what happened on that freezing February night. Or maybe the Dyatlov Pass mystery will remain one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries forever. So, what do you think really happened? Let me know in the comments.